There he goes. Where's T-Rex? Oh, there he is. He snuck right out from underneath me. Good boy. 63 degrees at 9:52 on Thursday, October 24th. It's pretty warm. I mean, the average high temperature, climatologically speaking, for this time of year is 60. And we have a cold front going by, and we're in the mid-60s. Not very cold of a front, is it? It's changed a lot. Today's the day we've been talking about for some time. I'm really curious to see what's going to happen on Thursday, because there might be something coming out of the tropics and there's going to be a front coming out of Canada all at the same time. We've been talking about it for about 10 days. Well, here it is, and there's the sky, alto cumulus. Looks like there's a little precipitation trying to come out there, probably a little something on the radar. TK checks radar. Near Worcester, somewhere in there. So there's a front, but these cold fronts, they kind of lag. So the cool air initially comes in with the wind from the north. It's not cool at all in the mid-60s, but up in the sky it is getting colder. Mount Washington is down to 33, so it's not even freezing up in the sky. And what about that connection to the tropics, the ocean storm? Well, that storm is all it could be, and so close in a global sense that we almost merged the front and the storm, but almost doesn't count in weather. The storm is down to 994 millibars, and the sustained wind near the center of this non-tropical storm, 93 km per h, kilometers per hour. There's the number in the lower left. In the null school, you can put your cursor over a spot and get the wind or temperature or whatever you want. And 93 kilometers per hour is 57 miles per hour. So this is a full-on storm. Sorry, my audio keeps changing because I keep moving my camera around and the animals are intertwined and I'm just trying to do the weather. So the ocean storm is all it could be, but it's staying separate. And it's almost like these are competing forces. You also notice back on that null school, there's a gap in the wind right over southeastern New England. And then the wind picks up a little bit back inland. So there's a gap in the pressure gradient. And when I checked the readings around 8 o'clock on the northeast map with the temperature and the dew point here, you saw that it was calm, the cross over Cape Cod. Temperatures are in the 60s at sunrise again today, but then if you move north and west, Josh Worth in Montgomery, Vermont said it was 81 degrees yesterday, and this morning it was 43. And to the west, it's in the 30s in New York. But this is just a glancing blow of some cool, not cold air that's going to move in and out, so it looks nothing like the cold air that was forecast with this front from about 4 or 5 days ago. And that's going to be the case going forward. These fronts all look like they're going to do something from a few days out, and they get here and fall apart. And we can only hope that the same thing is going to happen with the Saturday front, and I think it is. Another perspective on this with the map. It's 5 a.m. where the front was just over New England. And then there's another front over the Great Lakes states. It's only about a 1022 high between the today front and the next front that's going to come in Saturday, so it's not that strong a high, so it's not going to get that windy. Just kind of stay like this probably much of the day. And the front that comes in Saturday is going to have more wind, and it is, I promise, oh, Weatherman makes no promises, I really believe the next front on Saturday is going to have a lot more wind and be colder. And it looks like from the Weather Prediction Center that there's going to be a couple things going on. On Saturday morning, let's just fast forward to the Saturday morning map with a low near Long Island with another front extending south into the southeastern United States and another front to the north of that. So it looks like dual fronts on Saturday, and that's a lot common when these fronts come in. You have an initial cold surge, and then the colder surge comes in later. And we may actually have a third front, one Saturday morning, one Saturday afternoon, and another one on Sunday. Here's the Boston 5-day, and you show pretty nice weather here with the sun and clouds mixed today. Temperatures are in the mid-60s, then just close to 60 tomorrow. And then just ahead of the Saturday front, maybe back in the lower 60s. And then Sunday, probably only staying in the 50s. And then if this is right, Monday, we're only 48 degrees. And will we have a freeze in Boston on Tuesday morning? it's very close. Regardless of what happens after that freeze potential, and which is huge to me because I want to keep my garden going as long as I can, and I still haven't stopped taking outdoor showers. But the freeze potential is definitely coming farther south on Tuesday with a calm night on Monday night than it has so far this season. Intermission here to check out the tomatoes in the garden and the worm farm, moving things around. I actually put a lot of water on this because it was so dusty. Yeah, a baby tomato going into Halloween. Yeah, that's how I roll. All right. So this storm over the ocean is not even going to go into Nova Scotia like I thought yesterday. It's going to curve out and be south of Newfoundland, and the surf aspect of it, so far we've only seen 2 feet 8 seconds at the buoys. I think the surf will pick up with the ground swell, and our wind is probably going to pick up tonight too. So near the coast and in the hills tonight, maybe not a freeze, but inland areas that have already had temperatures near 32 will be near 32 with a frost again tomorrow morning. And now we get into Saturday. Pardon me. Kind of backtracking, aren't I? Oh, starting to see the Montauk's wilt a little bit. Let's just go right to the Euro. And I'm not going to stop. Yeah, I am going to stop it. I'm going to stop it on Sunday. And the Euro says the high pressure coming in, cresting right over us with probably calm conditions for most areas tomorrow morning. And then there's going to be a brief period of warm air advection on the south side of that front that's coming in on Saturday. And look at all the isobars tightening up on Saturday afternoon. That means a strong wind from the west and northwest, gusting past 25-30 miles an hour for a time as the cold front comes through with just a few clouds and a chance of a shower or a sprinkle, but no washout. So many things going on Saturdays I've been talking about forever. And then here's Sunday. Sunday is when I do want to stop it. On Sunday afternoon at 2 p.m., there are a lot of black lines, isobars, and there's a kink in the isobars. There's an additional trough. It looks like a wintertime instability event. Windex, you know the Windex fronts that we are talked about where it gets some upslope snow, and some places like Mount Mansfield, Mount Washington can pick up a few inches of snow. You see the numbers on there on those blue lines, 540, 534, 528, 522, 516. That's nearly pure Arctic air coming into Maine on Sunday afternoon. And if it was 510 thickness, that is an Arctic front. So we talked about thicknesses. Cold air is more dense. That's how all that thickness works. Either way, we're going to have a few upslope snow showers and a brief whiteout. Brief, I'm talking just a few minutes in some of the higher elevations on Sunday afternoon from probably about, maybe all the way down to Killington, east to about Sunday River and points north. There could be a quick coating of snow, and then we'll put it back into motion, and the high pressure crests right over us with decreasing wind Monday night and Tuesday morning with radiational cooling. Not a windy night, a calm night gets us down into the teens and 20s and low 30s right into southern New England. Time out for a second. Chuck Stockdale asks, he's my plumber, musician, friend. What's a hard freeze, Tim? What do you define by hard freeze? Well, Chuck, I would say that if the temperature goes down into the 20s and it's windy with the temperature staying below 30 degrees for about 4 to 6 hours, I'd say that's a hard freeze, and that's not in the forecast. Chuck says maybe more like 8 to 10 hours. I could go either way on that. If it stays below freezing from about 10 p.m. through 8 a.m., that would be a hard freeze, and that is not in the forecast for Cape Cod or Boston. So I am not turning off my outdoor shower, rolling up hoses, or worried about my garden. Tiny bit worried about my garden, or turning off my outdoor shower. So put it back into motion. Watch how fast that high pressure system, which is so strong, 1035, sinks off to the south, and all of a sudden what was cold air advection Sunday into Monday turns into warm air advection. By late Tuesday, we're back to near 70, and Halloween is going to be record challenging warm with the front stretched from southeastern Canada to Texas. I'll stop it right here at trick or treat time, or just past that, 8 p.m. on Halloween night. And look at all those isobars, wind from the west, high pressure to our south. The record high temperature for Boston on Halloween is 81 from 1946. Oh, and while I have you here, thinking about that, Yesterday in Boston, we hit 78 degrees. So I looked up, was that a record? No, the record is 84 from October 23, 1947. So isn't that interesting? 1946, record warm Halloween. 1947, even warmer a few days before Halloween. So we're rivaling what happened around here about almost 80 years ago. We had kind of a warm spell like this in the middle of October. I'm gonna have to research those winters. Oh yes, what about winter? I'm gonna just leave those maps. There's nothing going on after Halloween. There's another weak front and there's really no cold, which is really not good news. So will the Mountain Ops teams at Killington, here is the Killington 14-day forecast. We're looking now to start those snow guns because the World Cup's coming in a little more than 4 weeks. Or is it 4 weeks from today? Maybe 5 weeks from today. And there's a cold spell there Sunday night, Monday, or Saturday night, Sunday night, Monday. A window of maybe 48 hours where they can make snow at the top of Superstar and start building that glacier. And I have a feeling they're gonna pull the trigger on that. Their finger is definitely gonna be on the trigger, but the warm wave coming in after that on Halloween back up into the 60s, that is ugly. And then everyone wants to know when's the next cold after that. It is not in the foreseeable future. So there's no real, the coldest weather in the next 2 weeks looks like it's gonna be here Monday and Tuesday morning before warming up for Halloween. All right, that's the end of the weather part. The end more, yesterday we spent a lot of time at the farm again. Eldridge Farm Foundation party Saturday looks good, 60s and breezy and probably more dusty than muddy. Usually it's a muddy situation. And so we were working on that, and then I told everyone I was gonna go over to Annie's Crannies. And I went over to Annie's Crannies yesterday, thinking that it would be kind of quiet, but instead there was some major production crew. SUV full of really fancy cameras, tripods, and he is a force, and he was real friendly, real nice, real dynamic, and he's got a YouTube page, and I looked at it, he's got 300,000 subscribers on YouTube, and he makes a living doing lots of things. He's a businessman, he's a chef, and he is a character. So that was really fun. Thank you, your crew, for being so nice and talking to me for a little bit. And Annie's Crannies, great season for cranberries on Cape Cod. So Annie will be open this weekend. And I'll be at the Southern New England Weather Conference on Saturday morning, at the Farm Foundation party in the afternoon, and all over the place. And maybe we'll slow down again on Sunday. And Peter, I hear you about the fish. I showed that big fish that was caught off of Cape Cod in yesterday's program, and I feel the same as you, that it's sad to see such a majestic fish harvested. And you said for money. Well, yeah, it's sold like any other food product. Nature is cruel. Everything is something's food. And so fish has been a staple of food around here forever. And you know, I'm a gardener, but I also eat steak and chicken, and I've met a lot of really nice chickens and cows. So yeah, nature can be cruel. I mean, it's a food chain, and I'm one that escorts flies out of the house. I mean, I don't even kill a fly, and I let my spiders, I'll show you my spider tomorrow, I guess, and these spiders over here. I love all of nature, but I understand the forces of nature, and I watch big birds eat little birds, and little birds eat worms, and it's just a huge food chain, and I see the birds fighting out there over fish and food. So let's just try and get along and not fight and respect others' traditions, vocations, and look up at the sky and breathe deeply. And here's the and more from yesterday. I mentioned I want to come out and get that oak tree in the sun. There it is. And there are two hawks. I don't know, sparring, just enjoying themselves. Don't often see two hawks together. Where'd they go? I can't see them. And the moon. Where's the moon? It's up there. There it is. Hunter's moon. Hawks are always hunting. And this is windy. Warm air advection on Cape Cod, at 11:15. And we're back. 73 degrees today. Back at it. This time making a flat spot. It's going to be the biggest square footage flat area we've ever had for this weekend. Sprinkle a little around, making it flat. Yeah, touch. Like a salt shaker. A lot of work. Windy. Leaves coming down today. Time to make room for the stage. The McCloskey Trommel has to get repositioned. The Dirtiest Kid competition has about a 25-foot pile of dirt. Jason Merchant dropped off a bunch of more dirt to flatten it out. Jeff is on that big machine over there, flattening that out. We're gonna move that McCloskey to the to be burned pile. That's John Kelly and the skid steer. Skid steer. There's a lot of work going on down here, and it's hot. They were great.
See if you can find the pizza.
Find the pizza. Paul's over there. Jeff's over there. Starboard side. Jeff Baroni, Custom Crafted Homes. And Paul, remind me your name, Paul.
Paul Vassell.
And you own?
Yes, owner and president of Cape Cod Wind and Weather, 85-year-old company based in Howardsport.
What are you doing at the Eldridge Farm right now?
I also play in the Detours, a tremendous Cape Cod band from Dennis and Howard. We play anywhere from the Woodshed to Jake Rooney's to
so you're playing?
Fins and Hyannis. Yeah, we'll be we're the feature. We're the what do they call it? The headliner.
A Weatherman musician.
Yes.
You had me at hello, Paul. Great to meet you.
60s and 70s classic rock.
Yes.
All right.
That's called the Dry Harvest right there. Annie's Crannies. It looks like Annie's doing a TV interview or something over there. So of course there's a show being produced with Annie's Crannies, because why not? We're all here. We can't stop.
Legend.
And what's your name? Where are you from?
Oh, name's Brad Leone. Check out the YouTube show. It's called Local Legends and Making It. Just Google in there, Brad Leone, L-E-O-N-E. Check it out. Good stuff. We cover legends like Annie and yeah.
Who's your crew?
Who's the crew? We got the lovely Hobson.
Hobson.
We got Ian, a.k.a. Uncle Billy. And we got Carolyn, a.k.a. Gags 13.
There's our show.
And you are the salesman. The talent.
I'm the talking head, man. I'm the monkey with the cymbal, baby.
I love it. Nice to meet you, man.
Too.
Legends meeting legends. Yeah, we did the story last couple years ago about the Annie's Crannies and how Annie's grandfather was the fastest picker in his day in 1912. And, so they got all the restored old equipment here, and they're going to be open all weekend. Harvest goes on right through the first weekend of November, and it's something to do to come to Cape Cod, and this is probably one of the best spots to do it here on the north side of Dennis, one of the oldest cranberry bogs in the state. And it just so happens we got here at the same time that the famous YouTube show is being produced, and so this is also going to be on YouTube with mine, and you can see the harvest, the dry harvest, and get a walk in a counterclockwise circulation. Clockwise circulation. You can only go in one direction. That's right. So there are harvested cranberries in those bags. Annie says it was a great season for growing, just the right temperature, the right amount of rain, and even though there was a hailstorm here 2 weeks ago in the middle of the night, the cranberries were already firm enough that they withstood a hailstorm. She says it's a heavy berry, a great season, And she didn't have a lot of time this year because she's been behind the effort to preserve the charm here on the north side of Dennis and buying some land that was otherwise slated for condominiums right there on Route 6A and Hope Lane. So congratulations, Annie, on a very successful summer. Your life is fascinating.
Let us help you, please.
Yeah. Oh, really? No.
Yeah, I mean, my gosh, we're standing over here to watch you.
No. Yep. We got this.
I'm watching.
I'll help you. It's not even that, man. We can make that quick work.
We make quick work. Don't worry. It's a relaxing thing. Ronwin and I are used to this.
Who taught you how to walk on the bog?
What are you doing? Just put him on the edge?
Yeah.
So you're going to drive by?
We do. We drive by and pick them up.
Okay, I'll do that over here.
Okay.
I'll make a video of him doing that over there. Charm indeed. The second evening at a bog. And this one comes with fungi. Mmm. He's edible? I don't know. And of course, nothing would grow on any farm if it weren't for the pollinators. And here they are, probably really enjoying this warm day. Extended season. Yeah, modern machinery's really helped out. It's kind of a back-breaking job. And the benefit of a dry harvest is that the cranberries are not processed and they're not refrigerated and they're not frozen. So dry harvest are the freshest, best tasting cranberries. Looks like a barrel went over. Well, he talks the talk, he walks the walk. He's working it. And here's what the dry harvest looks like. Beautiful. Gorgeous. Apparently the darker ones are the sweetest ones. So let's try one of these. Wow, what a treat. See you at Annie's Crannies. Stop by before the Eldridge Farm Foundation Festival. If you're not at the Southern New England Weather Conference. A lot going on around here. I think one of the reasons it was so good down here was there was more rain actually on Cape Cod than there was up around Boston. That's pretty unusual for the summer season.
Mr. Weatherman, is it going to get cold on Sunday?
It's going to get cold on Sunday night.
Okay.
Slight chance of a first frost on Monday morning. Slight chance.
So
You guys haven't had a frost yet?
We had one frost last week.
Oh, you did?
We did on the bog. We did.
Wow.
Tolerance on the bog. That reminds me, I got to put my frost line out. The tolerance on the bog right now is 23 degrees, but there can be a huge difference between the bog and what the temperature reading is at the barn because the topography is so low that the cold air just goes down into the bog.
Yeah.
So you see that big black hose?
Yep.
That's got a little computer chip temperature line on the bottom of it. I have to run it out, and it goes. There's a garden hose in it, and the line goes through the garden hose, through that black hose, under the ground, up into our bedroom. And it looks like an old-fashioned clock radio, and it just goes beep, 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 beep. And if you don't get up, it goes beep, 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 beep.
Just a temperature alarm?
You got to get up and turn the pump on.
Gotcha.
To warm water, to warm the berries until it turns to ice. So, yeah, I got to go. That just reminded me. Tim just reminded me.
Bruce.
Frost is in the air. I better put my frost line out.
What did the temperature get to with that light frost last week?
I turned on at 24. Tolerance is 23.
24. You got to realize the official stations over here in Hyannis, it was 42.
Wow.
So almost 20 degrees cooler.
Whatever they say, if they say 42, 22, it could be 22. There can be as much as a 20-degree difference.
What do they know?
What do they know?
Pretty official, doesn't it? Always more. These are definitely Montauk's. I just scored at Jeff's farm, and the leaves are very different than these looking like Montauk's, but look at the difference. Those are chrysanthemum leaves, and these are Montauk leaves. I had no idea the similarities. Cool. So there's another kind of mum you can buy. These are left over from mom and dad, my mom and dad, decades ago. More and more and more and more and more and more and more. Back to where we started, but we're not done traveling. Oh yeah, sailboat season goes on. If it would stop, the weather, that is, I would stop. But I can't stop, because it keeps getting more interesting by the minute. More and more and more. Happy to see sailors out there on Bass River. Beauty. Yep, those are mums. Mums. Out a different door this morning. All good.